Hey, y'all. Hey, happy Monday. Hope everybody is having a good week. I hope your week is off to a good start. So far, mine is. I had a fantabulous weekend. So we might as well keep the fun, keep the joy going. Hey, cousin, how you doing? Thanks for joining. Yes, we're going to get this here thing started just in a couple few minutes. I'm going to give people a chance to join. But if y'all don't know, I do this each and every Monday. I ask y'all to come out and join your girl. That's me, Mojo, aka Maisha, and have a little moment with me. We usually talk about a whole bunch of different things, but the most important thing, what we get to the bottom of, is how you find your mojo. And whatever it is you're doing, if you don't know what that means, if you don't know what your mojo is, then you got to stick around and find out. Really though, finding your mojo just means how you show up as your authentic self and whatever it is you are doing. If you're laughing, if you're playing, if you're working, you want to make sure you're doing all of that as your authentic self. So I usually have special guests. We talk about a whole variety of different topics. Sometimes we talk about professional development, sometimes we talk about the arts, sometimes we talk about work, sometimes we talk about health and wellness. Whatever it is we talk about, we get to the bottom line of how you show up as your true self and whatever it is. So today will be no different. This is season 4. I can't believe it myself, of Finding Your Mojo, or Monday Moments with your girl Maisha. So I'm excited to get season 4 part 2 kicked off. We kicked off last week and I'm still riding high off my birthday. I'm still riding high off my birthday. So um last week we just talked about some life lessons or some things I've learned after these 5 decades I've been here on earth. But before we get the conversation started, I usually make a cocktail or mocktail. Today is Monday, so I thought I would make a martini for Monday. In the past, I've been known to have a martini or two with my girl Andrea Parsons. We used to call them dirty martini Mondays. Sometimes they're more or less dirty. Today they're gonna be a little less dirty because I'm gonna do a little twist on a Cosmo. I don't know what I'm gonna call it, but I'm making a Cosmo with vodka. The base is vodka, some cran apple juice, and I'm gonna add a little bit of bubbly to the top of mine because I like bubbly. I'm always looking for an excuse to add some bubbles to my cocktail. So today will be no different. Thank y'all for joining. I'll give you a couple few minutes to join while I make the cocktail. Today is my little twist, Mojo. I'm mojifying a Cosmo. So that's what we're doing today. Thank y'all all for joining me for 4 whole seasons, or if this is your first time, thank you for joining me today for this Monday moment. Today's topic is just going to be how I was sharing that last week I was talking about life lessons, and this week I want to talk about a new venture I'm starting. I'm going to start a podcast called Align Your Mojo. I'm going to be collaborating with a mentor and friend, I'm happy to say now, named Orlando Bishop. And it's basically going to be a spinoff of Finding Your Mojo, or Monday Moments. And we're just going to highlight some things that stuck out during our Monday Moments and just elaborate on them a little bit. It's going to be like the Today Show of Monday Moments. We'll just pull out a few things that stood out and just riff off each other and ask some questions about whatever the topic was that Monday. I'm going to go ahead and make the drink. Y'all join me, please. If y'all don't know, please chime in, join in. Whenever you have a question, a comment, go on and put it in the chat. Type it up. I'm on YouTube at FYM with Maisha. And I'm also at MOJO295 on Instagram. So with that said, let me make the cocktail and we're going to get into our talk. Hey, sister. All right. So like I said, I'm going to do a little base of vodka. Tito's for me because it's very economical. I've been known to have a Belvedere or kettle every now and then, but usually my basic is the Tito. So I'm going to do a couple shots of Tito's, 2 ounces, 2 shots, whatever you got at the crib. I already have my shaker pre-loaded, of course, with some ice. So I'm just doing 2 shots, 2 little pours, 2 shots of my vodka. Then I'm going to do equal parts today. Sometimes I like it a little strongy, but today I'm going to do it nice and light. I'm going to do also 2 shots of the cran apple. You could do it with cranberry juice. Regular Cosmos made with cranberry juice. So I'm going to do 2 shots cran apple. I made a little mess, of course. That's why I always bring towels. I know me. I made a little mess. It was a little cranberry juice. And also, I'm going to do just a little squeeze of lime. This is my new favorite kitchen utensil, a little lime squeezer. So I'm just going to do a little like quarter squeeze, a quarter lime, and squeeze it up in here in my shaker that I already preloaded with the ice. That's what we doing. My lime is quite dry, so ain't much juice coming out of there, but a little dab will do you. So now that I got that settled, I'm going to put my top on my shaker. I'm going to drop the shot glass because that's what I do, drop all of the things. And I'm going to just shake it up because that's what I like to do. I like the sound. Makes me feel like a real mixologist. And if you don't already know, I love 'tis the season to be spooky. So I brought my spooky glass out for y'all. Pre-chilling with cold water and ice. Now that it's done its job and chilled my glass, I'm going to pour that out. I actually remembered the bowl today to pour it out in. That doesn't always happen. Look at that. I must have done this before. So you see that nice frost on the glass? Yeah. So now I'm going to go ahead and have my shaking teeny. Pour her all in that pretty spooky glass. You see that pretty color? She be done. And just because I like a little bubbles, I'm going to add a little Prosecco. Hey, Drina Dre. That's the original Dirty Martini Monday, girl. Yes, welcome. You'll be proud of my drink I'm making today in my spooky martini glass. I'm going to just top mine off with just a little bit of bubbly, a little Prosecco for me. Whatever kind of bubbly you have will do. You might even want to just do salsa water or something. But I like a bubble. You see that nice, pretty fizz right there? That fizz. And just because I'm such a lady, I'm going to need a little lime too. I'm going to top her off with a lime. So I'm going to put her in a glass. Shall I put it in a glass? On the side. The side looks cuter, right? It's not that big though. So there we go. So cheers, y'all. Happy Monday. Yeah, I approve of this message. Now, this is definitely not for people who like sweet drinks. If you like sweet drinks, I mean, it's not sour, but it's definitely not sweet. But it's refreshing with the little bubbles, cranberry, hints of lime. I think you like it. It's a good number. All right, y'all. Now let's get to it. Thank you all so much for joining for another Monday moment with your girl, Mojo, aka Maisha. I was sharing with the people earlier that this is season 4, part 2. I kicked off part 2 of season 4 last Monday on the 15th with a special guest. Her name was Maisha Johnson. And I was telling the people I'm still riding high off of my birthday, turning the big 50 and the 5 decades of being on the earth. So last week, I just shared with you all some life lessons. So if y'all missed that, go back to my page at Mojo295 on Instagram or at FYM with Maisha on YouTube and learn you a few lessons, and type me in some too if you have some lessons you want to share with your girl. Today's topic I want to share with y'all a little bit about is a new venture I'm heading up, which is my podcast called Align Your Mojo. Align Your Mojo is going to be just highlights from this show on Mondays. I'm trying to do it every week. I'm going to start out every other week with installments. Wherever you watch your podcast, that's where you can find Align Your Mojo. And the premise of the show is just to talk about still how you find your mojo, but just different highlights from the Monday moment. For example, last week we talked about life lessons. So once some of those lessons were just like being still, being quiet, being patient, finding the small things to be happy about. So sometimes, as you should tonight, you all should chime in with whatever your thoughts are or comments are about those. So I'll pick out something from that after the show and talk about it more in depth on the podcast. So y'all join me for that. We have different topics ranging in all different subjects. Sometimes we do professional development. Sometimes we talk to actors, dancers, physicians. We talk about all the different things and the different steps or different just things you go through in life and how you show up as your authentic self with all the difficult things that can happen in life. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to touch on a few things and how I plan to align the mojo to those things. But before that, I would be remiss if I didn't recognize Latin American Heritage Month. So I let my fingers do a little walking today. And I did look into not only some Latin American people in history. I wrote down my notes. That's what I'm looking down. But also how the holidays started. So what I found was in 1968 that Lyndon Johnson signed in a bill for Latin American Heritage Week, followed up by George Bush in 89. It became a month. So now we have Latin American Heritage Month that is celebrated from September 15th to October 15th. I wonder why they split the month up like that, though. It's not just one whole month. I guess it still is a whole month, but it splits into 2 months. Anyway, I also wanted to do a little research and highlight some people who stood out in Latin American heritage history. Is that the right way to say it? I think so. Latin American history. Yes, not heritage history. Anyway, so a few people that they called out when I did let my fingers do the walking a little bit on my phone, scrolling. Listed some notable Latin American historical figures such as Simón Bolívar and Che Guevara. There were artists and writers such as Frida Kahlo. That Scholastic wrote a really nice picture book about. If you ever get a chance, take that off the shelves. I learned some really interesting stuff about Frida Kahlo. It's also a nice documentary about her. Gabriela Mistral and activists like Dolores Huerta and Cesar Chavez. A lot of these people were champions, and even though they were artists and sometimes revolutionaries, they definitely had a lot to do with champion labor and civil rights. You've probably heard of some other ones like influential individuals like Sor Juana Inés de la Cruz. A lot of these people were around like in the 17th century. So I found some interesting ones from Mexico, Eva Perón, and influential First Lady of Argentina. I also learned that not only is Latin American Heritage Month from September 15th to October 15th, but some of the other countries celebrate their independence on those days, like Nicaragua, Costa Rica. They have their independence on that days. So that's nice that, or it makes sense that Latin American Heritage Month falls in September, October. So anyway, I thought I would be remiss if I didn't at least acknowledge Latin American Heritage Month. So big up to them. And also, I'll be looking in the very near future to have some Latin Americans of our own day and time on the show to talk about how they found their mojo. So y'all holla at your girl if you ever have people that you talk to that are in your circles that you feel will be a good person to have on the show. I'm always interested in learning more, and that's really what this show is all about: learning more, doing more, and having people share about the things that they've done. Oh yes, Katura says she thinks several Latin American countries celebrate their independence across those weeks. Yep, they do. Hey Chola, hey Katura, I'll drink to that. Hey Brain Bin Media. So anyway, y'all, yes, so the podcast that I'm gonna start, not this week, but hopefully next week before the end of the month. Either I'm gonna just how about I'll just start fresh in October, I'm gonna say, because I'll record next week, but I probably will start posting the podcast in October called Align Your Mojo. You can find it anywhere you find your podcast. When I started thinking about doing my own podcast, what made me want to do it first was to think about if y'all listen to me talk and know me, I love a good podcast. I will work out to a podcast. I will clean the house to a podcast. It's just one of my favorite things to do. I'll do boring things like my expense report at work, listen to a podcast. I'm not gonna lie, a lot of them are true crime, but I really wanted to know what intrigues me so much. How come I'm so into podcasts? And what I discovered about myself is that I like to know why people are the way they are and why they do some of the things they do. And listen to the podcast when I find out like they've done these true crimes like murdering their wives or just offending people, like stealing a purse, or ridiculous things that you don't even understand why people do, or ghosting people, or whatever it is, however they move. And what I find, I just want to know why, like we're all different. So I think that's what so much of what finding your mojo is how we show up. And I want to know why. Like, why do we show up like that? Why do you like red and I like black? Why do you like purple and I like green? So I just like to find out why people do what they do and how they are the way they are. So the premise, or how I want to start off some of those conversations, is just talking to people about how they align who they are, and where they want to go. Because to me, that answers all the questions. I mean, some of those questions have different layers, but I feel like once you ask all of those things, not only do you start acknowledging or opening your eyes to where you are now, but it also makes you think about where you want to go. So in my journey on my Align Your Mojo podcast, no matter what the topic is, if it's relationships, if it's professional development, if it's friendships, if it's surviving a hard breakup, if it's surviving a layoff, I want to figure out where you are, who you are, where you are, and where you want to go. And if you're not exactly where you want to be, how you align yourself to go to that place. So that's what I want to do with my podcast. And I can't wait for y'all to watch, because I know if y'all on tonight, y'all gonna hook me up and watch the or listen to the podcast too. Now I'm just checking my notes to make sure I'm not forgetting anything. So some of the things I want to, some of my favorite things I also want to, it's going to be my podcast. So of course I want to incorporate some of my favorite things to do. So I just listed a few of those things that are going to, like I mentioned earlier, it's going to be my Align Your Mojo. It's going to be like the Today Show for Mojo. So just not only things that I like, but also stuff that's going around or going on in the world. And apparently a lot is going on. I heard Jimmy Kimmel got his show back. Anyway, I just want to talk about what's on your mind, like I said, and like the current day topics and some things that I'm into, like books or reading or working out or writing, and things that you all like to do, poetry, friendships, game nights. I want to talk about what's going on in the world, in my world, your world, and how we all survive some of the struggles that we know we go through every day. And I used to think a long time ago that, stuff was just happening to me and they were just isolated events. But you live a little bit and you find out that if it's happening to you, then it's probably also happening to somebody else. And it'd be interesting to see how how I deal with the things that are happening. So I would love, love, love if y'all could share with me some of those things starting tonight and in the future. But I plan to start in October and run episodes every other week from just spinoffs from the show. Let me see. I think it's some comments. Is a podcast instead of Monday Live? No, I'm still gonna do Monday Lives, but I'm going to write down take some notes from the Monday Lives and talk more in depth about some things that stood out. It could be a comment somebody had, or it could be something that just came up that we didn't have enough time to talk about. Because I know my attention span is low, so I try not to keep you on more than like 35, 45 minutes on this show. So if there's things that come out, or sometimes, just certain topics that come out, usually from a special guest that I would like them to elaborate on, and maybe they didn't have a chance to, maybe I can follow up with them or just get some of your opinions on what that point was. And I'm also open for topic suggestions. So please holla at your girl. This drink is really good. I think you all should try it. I'll make sure I post it tomorrow in the comments. So what else, y'all? What's going on? Are there any topics that I haven't talked about yet, or that I have talked about that you want to bring up again, that I should just bring up in general? I wrote down some that keep coming up for me. Long time ago, I had a friend when I first started working at Scholastic, however many moons ago that was. He talked often about some of my dating stories. And so one of the things she suggested was that I write a book. So I'm still a work in progress. But in the meantime, I feel like I can always have a little spinoff, like how Wendy Williams used to have Hot Topics. I might do a little spinoff like called, I don't know. She called it I'm So Over You, Bless Your Heart. I'm not sure that's going to be the name, but it's a name, working in progress. I need to copyright that so y'all don't steal it. But yes, I feel like at certain episodes, I'll have one thing that will always address in each episode. I'm kind of thinking about books because that's what I do in my life and in work and play. So that's just one of the ideas I'm toying with, but definitely gonna have a little special section that's about being so over you, bless your heart. Because I think dating is fun and funny and also not. So, and I feel like everybody can relate to that. Finding, reconnecting with your mojo when the world is trash. Ooh, I like that as a subtitle. I like these things. I need to write it down. I'll take a screenshot actually, so I cannot miss that. I'm taking a screenshot so I don't miss that title. Yeah, that'd be a good topic. Yeah, when the world is trash, ain't that the truth? So those were just some ideas I was toying with, especially when I was talking last week just about some of life lessons that I don't even realize in the midst of the madness that I realize were life lessons, but they're all lessons. And some of the things that I just do to manage every day with the world being trash, like Couture mentioned, like how I cope. Maybe you all can share some of the things about how y'all cope too, because it's all so difficile, if you will, these days. Oh, hi, Barbara. It's okay. You just joined. I appreciate you. It's not going to be a long one today because it's just dear old me. If y'all don't know, I usually have a special guest, but when I don't, you'll still be stuck with me, and I still will try and have something interesting to share with the people, then. And today we're just talking about how I'm going to start a podcast. Who knew? I feel like in life you should keep progressing. So my next step, I feel like after my fourth season, is going to be Align Your Mojo, a podcast that highlights some of the issues, topics, and concerns from our Monday moments. I'm not going to stop Monday moments, but I'm going to do Align Your Mojo, a podcast every other week. So y'all still holla at your girl. Don't leave me. Hang out with me on Mondays as well in the podcast. You can listen to the podcast and watch the lives anytime you want, because one of my goals also is uploading the Monday moment to both YouTube and Instagram. Still a work in progress. I just started using StreamYard, but we're gonna make it do what it do. We learning every day. So yeah, that's what's going on with me. What else? What's going on with you? What's going on with y'all? What would y'all like to hear more about? What's some topics that I should discuss? I can tell you that some of the things I am working on is having guests that are brothers, that are musicians. They're going to share their story. They come from a family of musicians, so they're going to share their story with me. I'm also going to have someone on who's been running marathons for a long time now. It's almost 70, I think. Excuse me. She's going to share her story with us and how she does it, how she continues to do it, and what some of her motivation is. You love to hear from people every podcast about how they're being intentional about joy. You know what, Couture, it's funny that you say that, because one of the things I wrote down before I started the live today was that a segment of the show I wanted to be about what you did today. What one thing that brought you joy today? And if people don't share with me, maybe I'll share something with me. But I wrote that down right before I started the live. Like, what brought you joy today? I kind of want to know too, what annoyed you today, and what brought you joy today. That's what I want to do. Yeah, I think joy. And first I wrote happy, and then I scratched that out and I put joy, because I think it's the difference between happy and joy. I feel like happy is a little moment, and joy can be a little longer lasting. But yes, and because I enjoy podcasts, I feel like maybe somebody else will too. So I hope you all do, because I'm sure going to try my hand at it. All right, y'all. Well, I'm not going to keep you long because it's just me, and I'm not one to ramble when there's nothing to ramble about. So y'all, let me know. Drop in the chat if there's any topics y'all want me to bring up to discuss. Waking up this morning, that is joy. An FB friend of mine asked that question too. It really helps you tune in and cultivate gratitude. I think so too. Really makes me think about it on a Monday, because Monday is a little difficult sometimes. And I'm like, listen, I know people somewhere, everywhere have a lot to complain about than I do. So let me chin up and think about that joy. That's so true. Just because I'm grumpy doesn't mean that I don't have a reason to be joyful. Because, like I say often for my favorite movie, dear God, I'm here. Yes, yes. So y'all, that's all I have to say about that. So, like I said, I'm not gonna keep y'all long, but please DM me, email me, shoot me a text, let me know about some topics you'd like to hear about, respond to the post about people you would like me to interview. Because I'm here for all of the things. Like I said, I cannot learn enough. I can't talk to enough people. I got all of the questions. I don't have all the answers, but I got a whole bunch of questions. So follow me, follow on Instagram at MOJO295 and YouTube at FYM with Maisha. I'll be here each and every Monday until I'm not, like when I take breaks for the summer and for the holidays. But I'm here doing all of the things when I can, God willing. So holla at your girl. Drop in comments if there's more things that you want to talk about. If you forgot to say something in the chat tonight, if I logged off too soon and it didn't catch up to the live, holla at your girl. Yes, let's share. But thank y'all for joining tonight. Thank y'all for joining the other nights. Thank y'all for chiming in whenever you can. I appreciate you. So keep finding the joy, keep sharing the joy with me, and I'm going to keep helping y'all find your mojo. So let's go on and cheers to that. Have a great week. Happy Monday. Thank y'all for being here. Good night. See you next Monday at 8 p.m., the new time, 8 p.m. EST. Looking forward to seeing y'all there. Good night.